Kwadwo Oppong kroma oti Zoom ene ejaye twa ne interview nkakra na Oppong kroma Zoom na wote a wotwa interview no okasa de fa eye abaya ya tuye ho Oppong kroma de no ma bi agu akwan mu ampese wotie eye nsem Oppong kroma ekaye na wode wadwen kyereba de Oppong kroma eken efa abana ye kotoye a na na danko akufo-addo a wodi MPP animu MP mfanfo mu nyina adi ntwo no Oppong kroma edi explanation biaba mamembo ne ti asem Oppong kroma ekaye time wa omofre no e wa afidie so no odi nkomo life on join
you. But you see Kwadwo Oppong kroma in your short because he is one of those very few, very lucky. In fact, if you won and you're an NDC, you're an MPP parliamentary candidate and you won, you will be counted as very few lucky ones who actually scrape through this green wall that is sweeping across the country. In his case, he comes in winner, 18,601, 58.1% in Ofuasariabi. The NDC's candidate, Alfred Osei-Poku, comes in at 13,415, 41.9%. That is just half the story. Kwadwo Oppong kroma drops in terms of actual votes from some 22,000 in the previous elections to 18,000 now. Kwadwo, this definitely is something that gladdens you nonetheless. A win is a win. Give me your quick reaction to this when you found the outcome, knowing what was happening across the country.
Well, so let me say good afternoon to your colleagues in the studio and to your audiences. We were tracking the polling station attendance from 7 a.m. every 30 minutes with our tracking system. And by midday, we had about 40% turnout. And it gave us reason to worry because looking at our target per polling station, it gave us reason to worry that, our numbers were not turning up to vote as much as we desired. And so we had to step up our sweeping system to ensure that we could encourage many of those who had gone to the farms or had gone elsewhere to come in and to cast their vote. I think at the end of it, we were hovering around 60% turnout. And as you then compare it to the averages in the region and across the country, we are pleased at the results that we had, albeit disappointed in the national performance of the New Patriotic Party and our candidates.
And indeed, for you in Ofuasariabi, and as I've just been indicating, if you go to 2020, the last time you were in an election there, you came in with 22,551 of the votes there. And this same gentleman who is now very close to you was at 12,000. He's increased his slightly by close to 1,000 votes. And you've dropped, I believe, just around 4,000 votes.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
And you would find on the ground that there are about 4,000 party members who refused to vote, or there are about 4,000 sympathizers of our party who refused to vote. And they explained to us some of the reasons for which they were angry and refusing to vote. That kind of aligns with the story across the country. And what we have to do is to embrace the kind of feedback that they are giving us and go back to the ground and work with it.
I mean, and I just pulled up our trends map here just to give people an understanding of why this, you say, is concerning for you when you started tracking and you realize that people are not showing up to vote. And I must say, you are the best performing parliamentary candidate as far as percentage outcome, as far as the results are concerned in Ofuasariabi, in a place that we know is a stronghold of your party. You have come in with 64% at the last elections. Nobody else had come close to that. The last time this was the case, somebody close to that, was in 2004. So going into this, he had significant momentum, right? And Kwadwo, this must be something that must worry you, considering that elections is all about momentum. You drove a wall through this, and you came with 64.2% the last time. You could, at worst, hold this, but then to drop, something catastrophic must have happened.
The catastrophe is the wind of change, the green wave that's blowing across the country. And you'll find that many of my compatriots, right from the coast up north, were suffering major damages. And in the midst of those major damages, we still managed to hold our own and did over 5,000 vote margin. I've said over and over again that the people of Ghana have sent us a very strong message. What we need to do is to embrace that message and to work with it going forward.
Tell me, you said when you noticed that there may be apathy, it worried you. What do you think accounted for the apathy?
Well, the people told us quite clearly what is accounting for the apathy. There were people who were available in the towns, the villages, some even at the polling stations in my constituency and in other constituencies who told us clearly, we won't vote. We won't vote. Some, for example, will say, unless you give us money. Some will say we won't vote because we are angry. We won't vote because we are disappointed. And they explained what their issues were. Some of the issues that have led to this apathy or this level of apathy have to do with how we have managed our party and some of the processes that we've gone through in the party, which leave the general party support base feeling angry. For example, when there are primaries and there's a small electoral college and there's a lot of incentives to delegates to vote for a particular candidate, it leaves the broader community angry. For example, there are those who told us that they were not pleased with the conduct of some senior government officials or some political actors, how we have carried ourselves about, at various instances. And they therefore sought to send us a message and to punish us for that. There are those who explain that the cost of living crisis is so severe. And though they hear the explanations about the why, they voted for us as a government to fix it. And they are not impressed with how much effort we have made in fixing it. And therefore, this is their verdict. And then there were those who told us that they were just, displeased about how we had handled major governance issues, like delivering on major projects or focusing on projects which they thought were totally unimportant, or responding to accusations of nepotism and corruption, etc. So they provided a lot of reasons. What we need to do is to embrace these reasons and to work with them to improve our management as a party and our governance the next time we have an opportunity to be in power.
And before the elections, though, many people watching said these sentiments that you're now articulating were very obvious. Everybody said you guys were heading for a catastrophe, but you speak to almost every government official, every spokesperson, all of you were in denial. You were spinning, we are going to turn this around. The economy was doing well. Ghanaians were quietly waiting for your other polls. You concede now that there was a lot of denial among your ranks, and that maybe led to this false sense of security, which now has been stripped off by the voter.
I think what transpired was the fact that the turnaround was not occasioned quickly enough. The administration acknowledged that there were difficulties and put out a number of measures to deal with some of these difficulties. And you began to see the turnaround numbers coming through in the latter part of the year 2024. But in the earlier part of the year and perhaps the year before, the pain had been so much that people had made up their minds. And therefore, no matter how things were turning around, getting to the election season or how projects were being finally completed, if you had major projects that you had not completed for a while and people had made up their mind to vote against you, completing them in the final weeks to the election and commissioning them may not necessarily change the minds of people because they had made up their minds already. Like I say, our job is not to argue with it or to rationalize it. Our job is to embrace it and to work with this feedback.
What do you think is the biggest lesson here?
Well, the political class has to listen a lot more to the Ghanaian public. The power rests with the people. They give us that power for 4 years, and they will hold you accountable at the end of the 4 years. And so the political class needs to listen a lot more. Today, I see a lot of our colleagues in the NDC very jubilant. And my caution to them is to listen a lot more to the people who employ us, the people who vote for us. Because in the end, it is how you deal with the issues that matter to them that determines your fate at the end of the day. I think also within the political parties, there needs to be the culture of internal disagreement some more, without those who disagree being treated as though they are, for want of a better expression, internal enemies. Because if you don't do that, you're going to have groupthink and everybody, singing one song that all is well until you are railroaded into a war. So there are a number of lessons here. These are a few that I'll pick up at this point.
And especially for you, you represent the new crop of leaders within the MPP. The future of the party rests with the likes of you, Abu Junapor, and the rest. You look at what is happening right now, even in the Ashanti region, the NDC is well on course to possibly get 10 seats there. Never happened. They've completely redefined the electoral map of Ghana. And the party will be left in shambles, maybe is even more charitable. What does that mean, though, for the future of the party? Knowing where you are and what the potential consequences of this for your ability to recover, especially for people like yourself who represent the future.
I mean, I think that, like I've always said, the job is on the ground. The job is about being on the ground, listening and engaging with the people who have given you the mandate and attending to the issues that matter to them. If you want to build a state-of-the-art ICT center for them because you believe that it is important and it does this and it does that and it does that for them, and they say they don't want it, but they want X, Y, Z, listen to them. That is what they want and deliver for them. And I believe that whether it's about today the MPP being in a very diminished position or the NDC having what I'll call a supermajority in the next parliament, if you listen to the people on the ground and you act in a manner that meets their interest, they will renew your mandate because you are working for them. If you do not listen to them, regardless of your majority today or your minority today, they will not give you an opportunity to serve them. And so for the future of the MPP, for the future of the NDC, for the future of the political class and the democracy that we are running, the political class needs to listen a lot more.
Kwadwo Oppong, thank you very much, and I'm delighted that you joined us with your thoughts. A pretty honest conversation.
So, press feature structure for the and then I found unique laser whitening. Unique laser whitening, I will toothpaste from Kwan. So, did you choose and ma was say a feature? Na a feature no so no. Na ye and carboni beer when no beer. Any tea stains, coffee stains, smoking stains, beer. Unique laser whitening product. Ebe yini nyina free so ma kama. De onya ni say product ni ubetu so. Na odi egu o brush no so. Na de chuchu usini so nyina kama. Uwia enhuru wanum. Jana wanum sa. Into contact Unique Laser Whitening. Our 079-9979-2330. Unique Laser Whitening. Or say Muni Seso.
Penifose bibiro wi asentine da ni atopnum na ne pabone fonti e wo se mo bambo hu hia na ne papa mu de Pro Technologies ana me kan fama wo ane Pro Technologies. We are specialized in both sales and installation of CCTV cameras. Yeton esa install CCTV cameras in the South Ghana and NASA brochure na ufi Ghana. Now beso CCTV camera installation. We need Pro Technologies and Ninsawaso. We get CCTV camera installation, electric fence, automated gate, access control, video doorbell, and intercom, and satellite TV, home theater. So upe biato, and wato, and pese be install them out. Pro Technologies and our software. Na shenenso. Say fidie nyina from America brochime and this and papa na opedia men nwene ho na ne bo anso da form me che ye know the web brochime mu ha any a branch e wo Ghana ye ni mo bra wo bre into sika fire nsem se fanya japade ma wo Ghana wo da na ne tenese ye say general construction so web brochire na peso si fi o Ghana e dan plan bi o peso si se wa sha se dada ana afi na peso si plan bia ye besi ama eno echi so here solar power ana bamba ho nsensem bi ade woni ye ni nsawoso ne esanso ye smart home abefo video bi apese hye e wo fie ana watwuma mo de ma wo woni ye ni nsawoso we are just a call away ne esanso wadan de ma han ana ofre brochire bedu Ghana na wo pe full house room ana apartment ahan for short term ana long term ye be ma obiane border form na bamba ho nsem de menwene ho enna ye interior decoration so wasi fie na wie ana yesu fie na ma no yes sign decoration ye besiesie odi ana office o e dia ma no e so to mfidie bi na wo hokun fa so install ana ne settings ye beye e dia ma e wo Ghana wo behu yen wo mira ofra denta e de wani a che dodoa wo behu ye e wo ahie ye ne Emerlin Pharmacy e na wo the same building. For information or WhatsApp 401-7570-300 080 and a +401 6992 254. Pro Technologies. We have the solutions for your security and home entertainment needs at affordable prices.